back.
We started off with our masks. We've been rehearsing with masks, and we want to make sure everybody stays nice and safe and healthy. So my name is Daniel Mobbs, and I am the teaching artist in residence with the Portland Opera Company, and my co-host tonight is
Lisa Lipton. I'm executive director with Opera Theater Oregon. Together, we're going to make some opera.
Yes, we are going to make some opera, and we have on the keys tonight the wonderful Sequoia. Sequoia is beloved by every arts organization in town once they find out about him. He works with me at Portland State University, playing for my students there, which Lisa is a graduate of.
It's true, I'm an alumni.
And he plays for my resident artist at the Portland Opera Company, and he also plays for a lot of the opera rehearsals and performances, so he's very needed and loved here. So we're lucky to have you tonight. Thank you, Sequoia. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. I now live in Portland, but I've lived most of my life in the New York, Philadelphia area. I went to a fine training school in Philadelphia called the Academy of Vocal Arts. It's 25 students and about 40 faculty members, so it's a lot of one-on-one education, which is great. And then I made my career debut in New York in 1993. You weren't born, right?
No, I was born.
In 1993 at New York City Opera, and then made my debut a couple of years after that. And New York was my home base for most of my career. Years ago, I've sung at Portland Opera since about, 17 or 18 years ago. And the last few times I've come, they've asked if I would start teaching the resident artist master class here and there, and then they started having me coming in for a week at a time from the East Coast and spending a whole week with the resident artists doing lessons and classes and advising them, counseling them on the things they need to know about starting their opportunity came to teach at the University of Portland, and then the opportunity came to teach at the opera more officially, and so I moved, my husband and my cat and I moved across country to the wonderful, magical Portland, and have been welcomed by the arts community and the community at large. So wonderful. My husband works for Whole Foods and the Pearl. Hi, Vince. Cheers. Wait, we have drinks? Cheers. Yeah.
Oh no!
Cheers. Yeah. My husband works in the Pearl at Whole Foods, so say my children. And we live in North Portland. And so does my co-host, Lisa. And we met in a production from her company, Opera Theater Oregon, last May, June? August, oh wow. Time flies. Last August, yeah, it was really hot. And you can tell them about that performance. You know the info.
Yeah, so a little bit background on me. Was born in upstate New York, but mostly grew up in Oregon. And I've spent a lot of time in Portland during my 12th year. And I was working at Ethos Music Center, doing their summer camp programs, and doing a bunch of different stuff, continuing to put on concerts and performances, specifically in new music, which is my passion. And in 2016, I assumed the role with Opera Theater Oregon, and we put on an outdoor opera, because our mission revolves around doing socially, politically, and environmentally relevant operas. So we did that, and then kept going along, and we were doing Artslandia Sings, which is when I met Daniel Mobbs. It was a really great experience, based off of Woody Guthrie's life. We had Tom Hartman MC, and we kind of had this connection.
We connected over pants and shoes.
Yes.
Immediately. One day she came in a crazy pair of pants, the next day I came in a trying topper, and I never won, obviously. As you know, Lisa is known for her wonderful fashion. But we connected every day on shoes or pants.
Yeah. And Artslandia Sings was really fun, and I just was looking for more opportunities to keep collaborations and inviting members into our circle and just creating art with them. And so Daniel Mobbs and I will actually also be doing a production coming up. It's called Green Sneakers by Ricky Ian Gordon.
I wore green shoes tonight, but I don't have any sneakers yet. I'm working on it.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
I think the whole
green earrings.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can't hear it, but they make this really cool sound too. Maybe you can.
Probably.
Can you hear it? Yes? Did anyone comment? Okay. Everyone likes her shoes. Oh.
See, she wins again. She wins again.
Yeah, and this is kind of having this live broadcast in this hall where we can be socially distanced. This is something that we're thinking about, this collaboration between Opera Theater Oregon, Daniel Knobs, and Queer Opera is looking to happen in December, and it's something we're thinking about how to do this, like this, making music from afar. So
we have been at a lot of meetings and planning stages to do a theatrical, real theatrical production of it, and of course with the plague, if you will, we've had to come up with new ideas, and instead of just getting up, we're making sure that we find ideas to make this a performance in whatever way we can, safely and legally, because it needs to be. It's a wonderful piece. Green Stickers is written by Ricky Ian Gordon, an American composer, and he wrote this piece. It's I can't remember how many songs, quite a few, 15, 16 songs, short songs. It's a one-man song cycle with string quartet, and it is all about when Ricky's husband was diagnosed with HIV and then suffered AIDS and passed away. All of which happened while Ricky's career was exploding as a composer. His operas were being premiered, dealing with that. So we want to make sure that this story, a powerful story about the HIV pandemic and how people live with it and live without it. And so it's an important project. So luckily, Queer Opera is my dear friend Chuck's group at PSU, where they specialize in finding ways to let anyone in the LGBTQ community sing any repertoire that resembles or reflects how they feel and who they want to represent. And through that idea, we came up with this Queer Opera project. And then, of course, I was working with them at the time on the Guthrie piece, and over drinks after the show, they said yes. So we've been cooking this up for a little while.
I think we're getting a comment that we need to be louder. Louder.
Right,
okay. We can project.
We're in a nice hall. Okay, so before we have a great time and we celebrate in this happy hour, I think it's only appropriate that we take a moment. This song that we are about to perform, outside in the Lone Fir Cemetery. I highly recommend it if you want some outdoor space and lots of open space and not a lot of people. We had a good time rehearsing there. It's a rather somber piece. It's a rather sad piece, maybe hopeful as well. So as I said earlier, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and a great tragedy has happened to my hometown, and tragedies are happening all over the country. And I would like to dedicate this performance to the family of Breonna Taylor and to the people of Louisville, Kentucky, and all the other people in the country right now who are suffering and who are sad and need a little hope. And hopefully this song might provide some. Will my friends be there In peace again.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We're
everyone.
getting hand claps. Are we good?
Yeah, it's still running and so forth.
Technology in the pandemic.
Live streaming is really live. That concert was really fun. We got to use another one of our Portland Opera resident artists, Helen Wong, who we missed greatly. I had the privilege of singing many different crazy pieces in that concert. Not only did I sing a really weird beatnik kind of, I don't know, what was that guy? It was like a radio announcer and he was really creepy. And I also sang an Elvis Presley number. You can imagine me, my uptight little self, struggling through that. But I had a good time. Yeah, it was something.
I loved it.
Anybody who knows me would have thought, what? Yeah, and it happened. So there.
It's awesome.
Cool. So that was our first piece of music. Maybe we can sit down and chat a little bit.
Yeah. It's really amazing to have this opportunity. I feel like so much of our life right now has been changed by the pandemic and these current events. And it's really cool. Artslandia is doing this Monday through Friday. We're doing happy hours every day.
I tuned into most of them. They're great.
Yeah, they're really cool. And you can kind of see people's houses. I mean, obviously we're not in our houses, but that's something I love about it, is just seeing where people create and where they are living and making music and what they're doing. Oh yeah, we're at Polaris Hall in North Portland. It's right across from PCC, right off of Killingsworth. Super cool area, highly recommend it. I live literally within walking distance up here. Yeah, just a beautiful neighborhood, really cool space.
Yeah, it's a great event space for weddings or big parties. Once we can have any of those things again, I highly recommend you coming here. Or music venues. As you can tell, we have an excellent sound man, Neil. Thank you, Neil. But we obviously have really good acoustics in this room as well. So if you have a chance to use the space, we highly recommend Polaris.
Yeah. So beautiful space, beautiful event, the happy hours, and just an awesome opportunity to talk with the community. I know that at some point we may be asked to do some questions. I don't know if there are any. Okay, well, feel free to ask questions. We have some people monitoring that, so we
have a whole crew of people safely distanced away monitoring your feed. So go ahead and ask.
Question crew.
Tell us, so you went to PSU, is that what brought you to Portland?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately I was looking for somewhere that I could study in mainly a city that was really inviting and creative. And I feel like Portland kind of has a unique ability to bring people together. There's people that I met the first year that I moved here that I still work with and still regularly create with. And I was, interested in all the things happening. I moved here in 2008, so.
Is that for Occupy?
Occupy was after 2008, yeah. But that was a whole movement.
I was here for Marriage to Figaro. I had just gotten married, literally, in New York City. And the next morning, I had a 6 a.m. flight to come here and start rehearsing for Marriage to Figaro. And the Occupy movement was so big here first before it went out.
Yeah, it was huge. It was really amazing, actually. At that point in time, I was living right in downtown Portland, right on Southwest Broadway. So pretty close. Within 3 blocks of all of that. Yes, you got a question.
Someone wants to know what brand of tape you use.
Who was it?
That's a shady character.
It's Jackie D. Tran.
Okay. What brand is this?
Gaffer's tape.
Yeah, it's gaffing tape. Like, just your standard.
It's a theater thing. It's used on everything.
Your standard feature.
We're not sponsoring.
No. Sorry.
That's pretty funny. Coming to Portland, yes. So I came to Portland to sing first and repeatedly, maybe every 2 to 3 or 4 years. And every time I would come here, it just seemed like this kind of a magical place. And everyone was so nice and welcoming. welcoming, and the crowds were great. The opera is super well attended and has a great following. Portland Opera, check them out at Portland Opera on Instagram. They, after a while, every time I would come here, I just kept kind of daydreaming about what it would be like to live in this crazy, weird, little, beautiful weirdness of the city.
When you're an hour from the mountains, you're an hour from the coast.
Yeah.
You're 2 hours from the desert.
My mom, hi Mom, Suzanne Bean, she's watching. She is retiring and selling her house and moving to retire to Oregon and live with us. And she said, quoting her, after being here a couple summers ago and tasting berries in berry season, she said, I will move there for the berries alone. So we've been sending her pictures of strawberries that we keep eating. Yeah, the berries here are the best
Oh, yeah.
food ever.
Oh, we got a question.
Questions?
How long did it take you to prepare this program?
Good question. How long did it take for us to prepare this program?
Well, so the piece that we just played, I performed originally with Nicholas Meyer in This Land Sings, who used to be co-artistic director for Opera Theater Oregon, a dear friend of mine, really great performer.
New good friend of mine is fantastic.
Yeah, so that, I mean, this piece, I think the lyrics of this really spoke to me. I know they spoke to you. It's really powerful. It causes you to really do some inner self-reflection and kind of talk about people doing self-reflection. So I think it just felt really appropriate. So a lot of this rep is something that, you know, I think Daniel and myself feel really strongly about. The Copland Concerto, which I'll play up until the end of the cadenza later on in the program. I really like it because I don't think it's like most classical music that I play. It's not like most classical music written for clarinet. And classical music's not the only thing that I do. I do other things. For me, it's been really exciting and a challenge for clarinet for the public. That's something that I've always wanted to do. I really enjoy playing. I really enjoy performing. So for that piece, I kind of just feel really emotional about it. So I prepared by practicing before this. You know, through the pandemic, I've probably been playing mostly every day.
Good for
Here
you.
and there, I don't, yeah. Because whenever I'm sad or upset or I don't know what I'm doing, or I feel like maybe I don't know what the right answer is to something, or if I feel like I just need to not think about other things for a while until I can come to some inner resolution, I play clarinet. And that's kind of how I emotionally channel myself. So
I was a little resistant at first because, excuse me, I was rehearsing a Vivaldi opera with Portland Opera called By Incense, and I was singing the title role, and as a person of her age, I don't know how many other title roles I'll get to sing, so it's exciting. And it was a really exceptionally gifted, young, talented cast. Wonderful early music specialist who was our conductor, and a close friend, director who I've worked with many times, Chaz. So it was a project that we were just, I can't tell you how much fun we were having, and making music is fun, right? When you're in rehearsals, people who are not musicians, you would get to enjoy performances and it's very enjoyable, but you know, when we started rehearsing, I said to her the other day, like, who needs an audience? No offense. But what I missed was what we just did, was creating something and making music. But anyway, what was my train of thought?
picking our rep.
Picking our rep, yeah. So I talked to Lisa, just checked in with her right after everything shut down and my Vivaldi opera was canceled, and I was a little in mourning. And so as I teach the resident artists, my job was also to try to inspire them to get into their music and try to inspire them to just stay hard at work. Everything's on pause, we're all on pause, but you can stay motivated. And I was able to do that, I think, okay with them. I just wasn't able to do it for myself. I just didn't sing for at least a month, not even home. And then you offered me the opportunity to work on this piece, and I said, I think I'm ready. And then all of a sudden, unfortunately, I experienced a personal loss. My high school mentor and choir director passed away, not COVID related, as far as we know. And so I just wrote Lisa, and we had a rehearsal that day, and I told her that I had a loss, and that the song was way too emotional to sing during that moment. And it took me a week. And then I realized that the loss itself was why I needed to work on the music. And it was the first time that I actually allowed myself to sing, and I sang through it the first time on my own, cold, and then I had a good cry and thought about what I felt. And then we met in Lone Fir Park, and we both were gritting like she is right now. Even though it's a sad song, we were making music again. Musicians are not somebody they can put their feet up and quit what they do. It's part of who we are. I'm not just a singer, I'm a musician. I have to make some sort of contact with music and with people. So when Artslandia invited me, I immediately said to Lisa, you have to come play this piece. And then I thought, wait, I can't fill a whole hour by myself. Let's see if we can fill it together.
Plus, it's fun to have a co-host.
It's really, yeah, a lot easier and so much more fun. Sequoia agreed, the company also agreed not to answer any questions or speak, so we're going to honor his wishes. So the question that she came up with is, I said, you know you played that piece in our concert, and it was so beautiful, maybe that would be something, or maybe it was your idea to sing it. I said, I'll give it my best. And she said, I'll research what is out there for bass, baritone, and clarinet. And she came back rather quickly a day or so later and said, not lots. Although, maybe somebody out there who's watching has an idea for next time we collaborate.
Hit me up!
Yeah. So we've taken a couple of other types of music, other songs and other arias and things, and decided to substitute clarinet for another soloist. So our next piece, are we about time? Yeah, about time?
Yeah.
Cool. The next piece is called Swazi Mobile, which means stay very still. And if you've ever heard the Lone Ranger theme, you have heard of this opera. It's called William Tell, or Guillaume Tell. And it's a really, really, really long opera, really geniusly. Rossini is my favorite composer, and the composer of whom I've sung the most in my career. So, in getting to sing this title role twice, I mean, that's kind of where you kind of hang up your hat and go, I'm good. Like, I'd walk out on that one. So, every time I can reimagine finding ways to sing William Tell, I do. And so this aria is the famous point of the story of William Tell, where he has been forced to place an apple on his son's head and prove his marksmanship and shoot the apple off his son's head in order to solve a big problem that I can't get into because we don't only have about 45 minutes left, and Rossini opera plots are very long. Anyway, in the scene, he speaks to his only son. His wife has already passed on. Everything is rooted in his son. Stay as impossibly still as you can. Keep your eyes focused on God, and know that your mother is on the other side waiting for the two of us if this doesn't go well. Spoiler alert, it goes fine for everybody. So this is Swazi Mobile by Rossini from the opera Guillaume Tell, and we have substituted the cello obbligato solo for a clarinet obbligato solo. So I hope you enjoy it. Mon fils, que je t'embrasse, ne vienne pas. Jamais, so
Yay! We've got some questions.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so we have two questions that I think kind of go together. How do you prepare physically for an opera performance? And they want to know a little bit about diet. And also, how do you maintain vocal health during quarantine?
Wow. Those are great questions. I don't know if you can hear on the microphone. First was, how does one prepare for an opera performance? You said diet.
Yeah.
Gosh, every singer has their own thing. Every performer, I would assume. Every musician, every actor, every dancer, every singer. Pre-performance rituals are kind of personal. And I'm not saying that in meaning that I can't share. It just means each person does things differently. On a show day, I tend to pretend that it's not a show day and go about my life and make sure that my performance doesn't interfere with my quality of life as much as possible. And so I will do some exercise. I will, I don't know, watch TV, play with my cat, garden, whatever thing I can do that's self-care and productive and not focusing on the performance at hand. And then I used to go to Starbucks and get a rooibos tea, which is a red tea from South Africa, where I met the wonderful Rochelle Yonk, who's running the Black Eye Project on Facebook. Everyone should check it out. And I always, for at least 15 years, would drink rooibos tea before every performance, and it was like a thing. And it was a very hard thing to get over when they stopped selling black tea before I tried all the other teas, and it didn't float my boat. My only other diet suggestion is hydration is something that doesn't show up until 24 hours at least later. So if you think drinking a whole lot on a show day is going to do you much good, it's probably not. But drinking a lot the day before is going to show up as a great hydrator for every muscle in your body. So I try to really hydrate a lot the day before. On the day of, I drink, but not too much because I don't want to have to go to the bathroom 40 times in a performance. Probably for you as well.
Yeah, I would say that hydration the day before is always good. I have a tendency to do the exact thing I shouldn't do. Like last night, I ate a bunch of salt and vinegar chips. That's not so great, right? It's gonna tear your mouth. But I also try to just go about my day as much as I can and not get in my headspace about it. It's complicated with the reed issue. Definitely have dry mouth. So that's something I experience. What other questions do we have?
Wait, I want to just talk about something that I remember. One of the things we connected on is that as a singer, I am basically a wind instrument. I use air to blow through my vocal folds to make sound frequencies. And we have here also a wind instrument. And so we actually do a lot of similar things, and a lot of our breathing and lung capacity use, if you will, was similar. And it was great because in this concert, we were all on stage and would just get up and sing our numbers, but then we sat back down on stage with the band, which was great. So we could watch our colleagues when we weren't singing. And I was fascinated by watching Lisa from the back and watching her ribcage expansion and thinking, ooh, I would love to show this to the singers that I work with about how well she uses her ribcage expansion and how similarly that we hold on to that air and only release it at the rate that we need to release it.
I'm very flattered because it's something that I work on.
That's very clear that you work on it.
I think about it all the time.
Yeah. I remember when I first started working with a young artist, and the one thing they said afterwards was, great class, thanks for talking about breath, thanks for talking about breath. So I think at least that's one of the things I work on the most, is my breathing capacity and how to work well within it. And yeah, how do I stay in shape during pandemic? Like I said, I didn't really practice much for at least a month. And then I took inspiration from the resident artists because they were really, really working hard, and I had to step up my game because I couldn't tell them to do things and that I couldn't demonstrate well. You can't tell someone like, no, don't sing it like that, sing it like this, and then you go, That happens a lot in the early morning lessons when I'm at the university, but I try not to do that with my professional singers.
Yeah. Maybe we'll take a few more questions and then I'll do the field one.
Yeah. Was there another?
We have a question from Katrina Ketchum.
Okay.
So she says, Daniel, you performed repertory with major opera companies all over. What has been one of your most memorable experiences?
Memorable experiences. Gosh, I've been singing since '91. It's hard to say. One of the coolest things that ever happened, my mom was there, is singing in DC, Washington Opera many times, and then Washington Concert Opera just as they say, they do wonderful concert versions of opera. And I was singing one of my favorite roles, Dandini in La Cenerentola, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg was at the performance, and she often is in DC. She loves opera, and I wasn't told she was there. And after a performance, you're always in line meeting people who are fans or meeting donors to the organizations. So I'm just constantly shaking heads and meeting nice people. So you kind of go into a mode where you just go into this, like, thank you so much, I'm glad you came, I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you come back. And then next thing you know, this tiny little powerful creature walked up in front of me, and she was so shy and timid, and someone said, I want you to meet, and I said, I know exactly who she is. And she didn't want to talk about herself, she wanted to know about me and my mom. I was like yelling at my mom to come run over, and my mom ran up and said to her, thank you so much for all you've done for women. So I don't know if that's a performance memory, but it's a memory that is really important to me that performance got.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to step away from the stage and allow Lisa to play for you her concerto by Copland. I heard it in rehearsal, it's really exciting.
They want to see your credit.
Oh, okay.
Nicely done. I was saying to Lisa, when I first heard this in rehearsal, it's rare to hear a cadenza that long, longer than almost a movement, which is pretty cool.
I think it's the only cadenza written for clarinet.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love going from that. Beautiful. Great. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about something that's important to me, which is the Portland Opera Resident Artist Program. We like to call it PORA, if you will. And I have just come on to be their teaching artist in residence, and we came up with that title because I teach them, but I was also singing a role and singing the Big Night concert, which was unfortunately canceled. So I was doing both jobs, singing and teaching, which has been really, really, really fun. And I've gotten to be kind of a liaison between the singers and the artistic administration because I'm both, which has been really fun. Then the program is wonderful because we take on 4 singers. We train them for a 2-year stint most of the time, depending on the needs of the singer and the needs of the company. And they receive an extensive amount of training, not only now voice lessons, and we do a group voice class with the 4 singers. They receive 2 or 3 coachings a week. A coaching is different than a lesson. A coaching is more going over the mechanics of the music and the styles, and a voice lesson is more about how to use your voice to do those things. And they get yoga, they get movement classes where they learn how to move in Victorian costumes and how to move as if you have to ballroom dance and look elegant, or how to move if perhaps you're a woman playing a young boy. And someone who has gotten to do that here in Portland is our special guest tonight. Her name is Camille Sherman, and she is a 2nd-year resident artist with the Portland Opera. And she was to have played my daughter in the Vivaldi opera. And she did a brilliant job and got this close to doing it. So hopefully we'll get that production mounted again and we'll all get to sing it. Camille and I go back, but we'll talk a little bit after that. But she's going to come up here and entertain you with one of the pieces that she's been working so hard this summer. And then we'll talk a little bit about the program after her performance. So I hand it over to Camille Sherman.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a privilege to get to hear music in person, get to perform music in person. I think it's the thing artists miss most of all. I'm thrilled to be able to sing for you all. I'm going to be singing a piece from an opera, which is by Donizetti. This piece is called All'Afflitto, and it's Sarah's entrance aria, and I won't tell you the whole plot, but essentially she is in love with someone that she can't be with, and
That's an opera.
That's an opera, and this is a piece about that. So this is All'Afflitto.
Wow, yeah, that was great.
Thank you.
So, just have a seat. Let's chat a little bit.
It's mask and
Okay,
track.
we'll chat and ask.
Mask and track.
Tell us if you can understand us.
We'll try to enunciate.
It was such a pleasure to hear Camille get to sing this in a room with acoustics, because the way we've been working for the last 5 months is remotely over Zoom, and that has a lot of limitations. While we're all very appreciative of Zoom, I wish we had bought stock in Zoom. But there's some sound quality issues. You don't hear a lot of the overtones that you're hearing because of our wonderful sound man here. He's making it sound like he would. But through Zoom, it's very noisy. There's a lot of distortion. Sometimes the sound cuts out. So there's a lot of practical issues with teaching via Zoom. So what we've been doing, and I did it with my kids in school too, is we still have our Zoom sessions, but actually what the work that happens is that Camille spends time practicing the repertoire and produces a video of her practicing. In the video quality, it's quite good sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's better.
It's better.
It's not like this.
It's not great, but it's better.
It's real. It's real enough that we know all those Italian ends are way better.
Thank you. I'm gonna not talk at you. I'm gonna demask.
That was a little inside coaching. We were working on her Italian ends, and they were
My
really good. She will send, or the Resident Arts will send me every week a video of them practicing the repertoire that we're working on, and then I can take notes on the real sound quality that we get, or the better sound quality. Send them the notes. They study the notes, and then in the lessons and in the group class, we go over those notes, and they present the material with new, being refashioned with those notes applied, right?
It just makes us so much more efficient, because by being able to practice, make a video, send it to him, he can watch it, give me some notes, and then we only have an hour for our lesson, and we can just get right to work.
Don't you find also, I'm finding with the singers themselves, I don't have to say the notes more than once or twice, because since they're making videos, they're watching the videos before they send me, and sometimes they wait and send me like the third take, so I know when they've gotten those mistakes out. But all that watching of yourself in a video is very gives you a lot of self-awareness of the things that I'm trying to get them to work on. Then she sees it in their own video and goes, that's what Dan's been talking about. So really, it has kind of strangely sped up some of the process.
Yeah, so much actually. I don't know if any of you watching, if you've ever heard your voice, even if you're not a singer, if you've heard your voice in a video or on a voicemail, and you think, God, I didn't know I sounded like that. It goes for us as well. So having to listen to yourself, having to, the recording doesn't lie. So that definitely helps kind of pick it in.
Yeah, and Camille is also collaborating with Lisa Lipton on a piece. You can tell about that.
Yeah, Lisa and I have been able to collaborate recently, which has been so fantastic. We've done a couple of duets. We just did, we've been working on a couple of great arrangements by Justin Rawls of Opera Theater Oregon and
Artistic
director of Opera Theater Oregon, as well as we're hoping to put together a Mozart soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Shelley coming socially distantly between
Yeah,
the two of you.
we're a triangle. We're like walk, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been really, I think it's just, again, really great to make music right now. It's hard to not,
Yeah.
do that.
It feels so good. With Sequoia, it just fills my heart.
And, we had to postpone our upcoming shows.
Which will star Camille.
Yeah, I had a show upcoming with Dan, and then the next month I was supposed to do a show at Opera Theater Oregon, and it's kind of funny how, things just came crashing down so fast, but I'm grateful to be in a community of people who are interested in keeping what we're doing going, finding creative ways. It's forcing us to think outside of the box in ways that I think we often don't in opera.
Yeah, this reset is tough and challenging. Obviously, it's a big challenge for all arts organizations right now. Funding is completely dried up. State funding especially. City and state funds are just not going into the arts right now because they're obviously trying to keep the states afloat. So anyone who's running an opera company or any arts organization is in big trouble. So if you enjoy any of the stuff we've done today, I hope you have, we've enjoyed doing it. I want to encourage you to go to Portland Opera, their website, portlandopera.org.
Oh no. Is it org? Is it com? Oh,
We'll figure it out.
It's, I believe it's org.
Yeah.
Ours is .com.
It's one of the
operatheateroregon.com, or you can go to their Instagram at Portland Opera and at Opera Theater Oregon and at Camille sure.
Yeah, and if you reference any of the Artslandia happy hours, I mean, you can find Portland Opera or Opera Theater Oregon through that. We've all been sharing each other's stuff lately. Also, I just want to mention, if you really like the happy hours, Artslandia has done a team up where you can have like cocktails delivered while you watch this.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something really exciting. Yeah, through Marketplace, Artslandia Marketplace. But I think we just have a little bit of time left.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play one more.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Camille.
much.
Great job.
Thank you for having me.
I'll get out of your way. So first of all, this is supposed to be happy hour, and we haven't had any toasts. So I want to toast to Portland, and I want to toast to all the people who are staying in quarantine, and all the people who are wearing masks, and all the people who are thinking about keeping everyone else safe. Toast to all of you. And we have found one more thing that we can make work for bass baritone and clarinet. And we'll bring up the translation for you. So this is a song by Richard Strauss called Morgan. And it's one of the most popular of Strauss's pieces. And he wrote these 4 songs for, where is it? There it is. He wrote these 4 songs for his wife, I think. The text to Morgan, the text here, this is a poetic translation. The song says, "And tomorrow the sun will shine again. And on the path that I shall take, it will unite us, happy ones again. And this same sun-breathing earth, amid this same sun-breathing earth, excuse me, and to the shore, broad, blue waves, we shall quietly and slowly descend. Speechless, we shall gaze into each other's eyes, and the speechless silence of bliss fall upon us." Thank you. How are we doing? We're closing out. 2 minutes. Well, Artslandia, we certainly would like to thank you for hosting tonight. Yes? What do you have to say?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited that this is something that we can all come together with these happy hours with the artistic community.
You brought friends together, musicians together, and the arts together, so thank you.
Great. I'm looking at the comments. PortlandOpera.org. Thank you, Sue. Sue Dixon of Portland Opera.
Sue Dixon is our fearless leader.
Yay, Sue!
And we thank her heartily.
Thank you, Misty Topoles. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who watched. We'll see you later.
Yay.
Signing off.
Signing